Hello friends, this video demonstrates how to write a simple Java program that connects to relational database management system like MySQL. To do this experiment, we require two softwares, one is Java and other is MySQL in our mission. So as Java is connecting to the MySQL that is running in our own mission to connect to the service that is running in our own mission, we need to use the IP address as localhost. The second part is 3306 is a port number where MySQL runs. 3306 is a default port number which is occupied by MySQL during the installation process. In case if MySQL or any database that is running in other mission, instead of using localhost, we will have to use the IP address of that particular mission. Localhost is the loopback address. It means that instead of localhost name, you can also use the IP address like this 127.0.0.1. Anything can be used, either localhost or that IP address can be used to connect to the service that is running in our own mission. Okay, expecting that Java is available in our own mission and MySQL is available in our own mission, we can do this experiment. So what I'm going to do is that I'll write a simple Java program which connects to the database using database credentials, username and password. After connecting to the MySQL, your Java program will send some SQL instructions to MySQL like insertion statement or create statement or anything else. So in our example, we are going to insert some values into the MySQL table. That table is created in MySQL. And later on, to check whether this experiment is successful or not, we'll try to open the table and see that value that is sent from Java to MySQL has been inserted successfully or not. We'll check that and we'll end up there. Okay, this is what we are going to do. So before I actually get into the details, just let me tell you how to get this Java environment and how to get MySQL environment in our mission. And then we will get back to the program. To get Java into the mission, in case of Ubuntu or Linux Mint, it's quite simple. Open your browser, type download JDK. It can be 1.7 or 1.8. After downloading, you can download it from directly Oracle's website. When you say that download JDK, you can see that very first link is from Oracle downloads. You go there and get JDK 1.7 and keep the folder wherever you want. This is a folder that we'll get after downloading Java. So in my case, JDK 1.7 is available. And secondly, we need to install MySQL. Okay, in case of Ubuntu or Linux Mint, how to install MySQL? Installing MySQL here is based on simple command. If you type that simple command, automatically your system identifies the relevant packages through internet and downloads that packages in your computer. And everything is done which takes not more than 10 minutes to install MySQL in the machine. Before we start the installation for MySQL, you have to update your current packages. To update the current packages, you need to type the following command. Sudo means through root credentials, sudo apt-get. Please say update. Okay. By typing this command immediately, your system will be updated. All current packages in your system will be updated. It takes not more than 1 minute to do this task. So after entering, simply your system will automatically update. Okay, you need not to do anything apart from this thing. So after updating, you please type this command sudo apt. Now we need to download MySQL and install in the machine. These two things happens in one single command, apt-get install MySQL server. If I press enter now, automatically, if your system is connected to internet, automatically the MySQL latest version will be installed in your computer. During the installation process, a user called as root will be created and the password will be prompted. during the installation, whenever the installation prompted you to enter a password, you please provide a password and remember that password, because we need to create another user based on root user only. Root is an administrator user to perform any kind of administration task like creating users, granting them privileges, and backup recovery, and creating databases. Everything is based on a super user called as root. So it's very important to remember the password of the root. During the installation, whatever the password that you provide, please try to remember that password. Okay, so in my case, MySQL is already available. That's why I'm not entering here. So everything gets through as one single command. That's all. Now Java is available, MySQL is available, and once after getting MySQL in the machine, now let's try to log on to MySQL. Now I'll show you how to log on to MySQL. Type MySQL -u, that means user. We need to enter by the very first time as a root, because only one user, root user, is available. Name of the user is root, and -p, that means password. We need to enter the password. Please enter the password that you have provided during installation. Okay, you will get like this. If you see MySQL, this symbol, then you have successfully logged into the MySQL database. Here, now I have to create one database. Create database. For our experiment purpose, I am creating this database. Demo database. I'm going to use this database called as demo database. Okay. Create database, demo database. The name of the database that I've given is demo database. Now let's create one user. Create user. Let the username be demo. Identify by password. Let the password be demo. Okay. Right. Now demo database is available and user demo is available. Let's grant some privileges to demo on database called as demo database. This should be done through this command. Grant all on. Name of the database is demo database dot start. That means any database that is followed by this name or start. To user called as demo. Now all the permissions that has been granted to the user demo on database demo database. Now let's try to log on to the demo user using demo user. Let's try to access that demo database. MySQL. This time -u. This time the username is demo. -p. Password is also demo. Right? We have successfully logged. Let's use the database. Now we need to tell to the MySQL which particular database that a demo user has to use. We have already granted permissions. On demo database. So here I'll be using use demo database. Right, database changed. In demo database, I'll create one table called as create table sample. One simple table sample with only one column, which is an integer. Okay, so a table sample is created. Now let's check the contents inside sample. It should be an empty set. Select start from sample. It's an empty set. Right. So now what we are going to do using Java means that using Java program, let's log into MySQL using the user demo with password demo, and using the database demo database, and using the table sample. We need to insert one value. We have to insert one value using Java program. It can be one value or more than one value, anything else. Okay, let's try to insert some values into this table called as sample using Java program. Okay, so after doing that, let's get back to this particular screen, and when I type select start from sample, I should see some values inserted from the Java program. Okay, right. Now let's see how a simple Java program looks like. This is the JDBC program that connects to the MySQL database. let's have some clear looks on this program. You can see these two packages, import java.sql and javax.sql. These two packages are from JDK only, and these two packages are important to import because we are using the classes and the methods that are defined in these two packages. We are going to use them. That's why it's very important to use these two packages. It's important to import these two packages whenever we are writing JDBC program. Okay, right. You can see this name of the program given as JDBC demo. Inside main method, this line class.forName. Okay, this method class.forName is a method which takes a single argument, a string argument. This argument com.mysql.jdbc.driver. This is a class name. It takes an argument. That argument is nothing but a class name. By taking an argument of that particular class name, it creates an instance of this class that is provided as an argument. So, where do you think that this class exists? This class is basically from MySQL. It is not from Java. So, to avoid class not found exception, we need to set class path to the jar file that is provided by MySQL. Every database vendor should provide their own driver information. Why this driver is required? Why a driver is required normally in reality? To transport something from one place to other place. So here also we require a driver to transport our SQL statements from our Java environment to MySQL environment. So we require this driver. This driver is provided by MySQL. In case if you are using Oracle means, Oracle has to provide the driver. For that reason, Oracle has to come with their own jar file. In case of MySQL, MySQL has to come with their own jar file. And how to set class path to that particular jar file, I am going to demonstrate after seeing this program. Okay. So anyhow, this is the first method, class.forName. Here we have to send this argument. This argument is for MySQL. In case of Oracle, this argument name changes. Okay, this is class name. Once after doing that, we need to set URL, username and password. URL means the place where MySQL is running. In our case, MySQL is running in localhost with port number 3306. As I told you, this port number is a default one for MySQL, and the sample DB is a database name. But in our case, we have just created a database. What is the database name? Is demo database. Okay, right. In our case, we have created a user also. Our user is demo, and our password is demo. Okay, now we need to establish a connection using this method called as get connection. This get connection is a method that should be called using an instance of driver manager. So driver manager dot get connection. Here get connection takes three parameters. One is URL and other is username and password. If everything that is done perfectly during execution, okay, if this line executes correctly, then you won't get any exception. This line will be executed later on. But in case if you have done any mistake here, probably like if username doesn't exist, password mismatch, or this class name not found, this kind of exceptions are occurred means this line will not be executed. So while during the execution, if you are seeing that database is connected, if this system.out.println this line is seen means that means up to here your Java interpreter has executed successfully. Otherwise, if you have done any mistake, then this line will not be executed. You will get some exception. Okay, below to this line, because interpreter stops execution here. Right. Anyhow, expecting that if everything goes smoothly, then this line you will be seeing database connected. Here I am creating one statement. This statement is nothing but insert into some table. So in our case, we have created a table called as sample. Okay, I am going to insert a value called as 666. This value has to be inserted. Okay, how a statement is created means like this, using a method called as create statement. Using this statement, the instance statement, we'll call a method called as execute by sending this string as a parameter. Okay, right. Try to see here, it's a simple string insert into sample. According to Java, this is a string, but according to SQL, it's a command, right? So in case if you have done any mistake typing something, like for an example here, values, the keyword values is compulsory as of SQL syntax is concerned. But in case if you have typed only value, that is wrong according to SQL syntax. At the time, some exceptions has to be written back. To see that SQL related exceptions, we need to write a catch block. Okay, that's why this entire thing is kept in try block. After closing this try block, we need to write a catch block to catch SQL related exceptions, because these exceptions will not be caught by a normal Java traditional exceptions. Okay, so these exceptions are related to Java. Okay, everything exception handling and all these methods and classes are defined in java.sql or javax.sql, where X stands for extended. Right, this is a program that we are going to compile and execute now. So as I told you that I'll be telling how to set a class path to the MySQL jar file. Okay, so because if you do not set class path to MySQL's jar file, then probably this statement will not be executed. This statement will not be executed. There you will get an exception, class not found exception. Okay, class not found exception will be thrown. To avoid that exception, we need to set class path. Now we'll see how to set class path. Actually, we require, as I told you, that every database will come there, will come with their own jar files, which has driver information. Okay, MySQL will also come with its own jar file, and the jar file name is called as mysql-connector.jar file. Okay, after installing MySQL, you can go to the installation directory to search this jar file. You'll definitely get it. But to avoid that searching, it's very easy to download this file from internet. Go here and please tell that download mysql-connector.jar file. You can see, you go to any link and download that jar file. Okay, here it's anyhow platform independent, you can download any file. Okay, once after downloading, you will get a file of this kind. Okay, if you open this folder, you will get an archive. When you extract files, you will get these things. Inside you can see this jar file, mysql-connector-java. This is version 5.1 is the version, the supported version. It can be any version's jar file, it doesn't matter. Okay, we need to set class path to this particular file. We need to set class path to this particular file. Okay, so you please copy this path up to here. Okay, now I'll tell you how to set class path in Ubuntu or Linux environment. You please open your terminal. Here type sudo gedit etc Okay, actually you should go to this location called as environment, which is located in etc folder. Type it as sudo gedit etc environment. I have wrongly typed the file name, that's why I was unable to open that particular file. This time it is correct. You can see this file. Okay, so here is a place where you need to set the class path. In my case, you can see that my jar file is available in home directory. Inside there is a directory called as Satish. Inside there is a directory, again directory. This is the directory that you will get after extracting the files. Okay, up to here anyhow we have copied the path. You simply paste this path, and remaining, this is the file name. Okay, you have to include the file name also inside the class. inside the class path. If you are setting the class path by the very first time, then you will see like this. Okay, there you need to type the variable name class path equals to, and then you have to paste it. Okay. Of course, I have different class paths for different environments, so don't mind about the other values. But of course, this value is what that is required for this program. Okay, home Satish, and which is connected to MySQL connector, this .jar file. Okay, make sure that this is correctly set in the class path. Okay, once after setting class path in case of Ubuntu or Linux Mint, please restart your computer to see the effect of class path. Right, our environment is ready now. Our program is ready. Let's try to execute this program now. When I execute this program, this will connect to a database called as demo database using credentials demo, and it tries to insert a value called as 666 in a table called as sample. In case if we execute this program successfully, then when I get back to MySQL database, and if I say select star from sample, then I should see that 666 is successfully inserted there. In such case, we are successful. Okay, let's do that. My program is available in desktop, Java C JDBC demo.jar. Compilation is successful. It shows that there are no compile time errors. Now I am executing JDBC demo. Connecting database connected. It means that execution is successful. I've seen these two statements to check where the execution stops. The execution is never stopped. It has executed from starting to end. It means that it has successfully connected to the database that we have created and inserted that value. Now let's see that value is successfully inserted or not. We have already logged in with the demo user. Now I'll try to see that. Select start from sample. You see here? Beautiful. The value is inserted. This value is inserted from Java. Okay. It's a simple experiment how to insert some values from Java. If you extend this topic, then you will be, if you are good at writing Java, such kind of programs, then probably using servlet also you can insert some values from forms, HTML forms, and Java applets. Okay, so we can develop very good user interfaces where user can directly interact with the database from any place. I hope this video helps you. Thanks for watching this video. Bye.